Thanks for joining me today on this beautiful sunny day in Cardiff. I haven't vlogged for a while because I've been busy working on my third book, and I've still been doing the vlogs though, so if you want to check those out, it's www.happychildcare.club. But today I just wanted to share this vlog with you because I've had a lot of emails recently regarding going back into the world outside our window once all this lockdown is over. So coming out of lockdown is causing quite a bit of anxiety for a lot of people, whereas 8 or 9 weeks ago the emails I was receiving were more about how we were going to cope being in lockdown, how families were going to be locked in together in the household, how they were going to work. There was a lot of mum guilt working from home, and dads. I've had dads contact me too and DM me on Twitter and Instagram saying it's really hard to Zoom from the living room when you've got your family around. So today we're going to address the shift in energy, which is more about the anxiety that we're feeling about going back to work, sending our children back to school and childcare, and about returning to some sort of normality, whatever that is, following COVID-19. So today I'm going to share with you something called EFT. It's Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's tapping on certain points of the body to release blocked energy, because we're made up of energy. Our bodies, everything's made up of energy, even the stone on the floor is made of energy, and we're going to tap on those energy points, acupoints, a bit like acupuncture but without the needles. So it's a lot easier to do, and it's something you can do at home, and it's something you can do at any time as well. So I'm going to quickly run you through the technique, and then I'll do a little slower, and then you can practice on your own. So the first thing we do is we take the issue that we have. So if you're feeling any sort of fear or anxiety about returning to work or returning to the workplace, or your children going back to school, then we're going to use that statement and we're going to tap it out. So we're going to use that as our starting statement, and we're going to say, even though I have this fear or anxiety, I deeply love and approve of and accept myself anyway. And when we say this statement, we're going to tap on what we call the karate chop point, which is here on the fleshy part of your hand. Now it doesn't matter which hand you use. You can use your right hand or your left hand to tap. I'm right-handed, so I like to tap with my right. And you just tap on that fleshy part of the hand there when you say that statement. Even though I have this fear or anxiety, or even though I have this anxiety about returning to work or about my children going to school, even though I have this anxiety, and you tap here 3 times and say that statement 3 times. Even though I have this anxiety, I love and approve of myself anyway. Even though I have this anxiety, I love, approve and accept myself anyway. Even though I have this anxiety, I love and approve and accept myself anyway. So once you've tapped there 3 times, then we're going to go to the next point, and we're going to carry this on, and it's going to be inside the eyebrow here, and then you just tap this fear. This fear. Now I tap about 8 times. You can tap whatever feels comfortable for you. You can do more or less. Between 3 and 10 is pretty good. So this anxiety, and then we move to the outer eyebrow, or the outer side of the eye, and then we'll say this fear. This fear. I have this fear, and keep tapping. And then under the eye we say this fear, this fear, and you just tap with 2 fingers like this, not too hard but just a little bit of pressure, because you want to touch those pressure points. And then under the nose here, this fleshy part here, and say again this fear or this anxiety, and keep tapping. Doesn't matter what you look like, we're working on how we feel here, so just try and be open and receptive. And then under the chin here, in the little dimply parts, we're going to say this fear, this anxiety, this fear. And then here where you tie a tie around your neck here, tap here again, this fear, this fear. And then under the arm, in line with the nipples, tap again, this fear, this anxiety, whatever you want to say. You could replace the statements with anything. So if you're not feeling anxiety, you can use it for anything. I used it this week for hiccups. So I had a bout of hiccups and I couldn't get rid of them, and anyone who's had those will know they're really annoying. And I only tapped once, did the session once, and they went straight away. I've also done it this week with the pain in my neck, so you could do it with pain. So you just say this pain if you had pain, this pain as you tap. And then we end then with what we call a claw on the top of the head, like this. And then we'll stick with the one we started with, this anxiety, or this fear, this anxiety. So they're the 9 points that we tap on. So you can use any statement, you can't do it wrong, so don't worry about doing it right or wrong. You can watch this and play it back and do it a bit slower so you can see each point. But basically we're just tapping out the energy and blocking the blocked energy within our bodies and relieving that anxiety. Now, a lot of people might not feel comfortable with saying they love and truly accept themselves, so you can say a different statement like, I may not want to get rid of this anxiety. So you can alternate that. You may not feel comfortable saying it out loud, but I really recommend that you do. Unlike affirmations, we're using the negative statements, so we're not telling our mind something positive that maybe our subconscious will reject. We're actually discussing the issue with ourselves, and we're trying to tap into that part of ourselves and unblock that energy. So I hope that you'll give that a go and be open and receptive to trying EFT. I'll do a few more of these vlogs in the future, but for now this was just returning to going back to work and returning back to some sort of normality, just to prepare us for those things and give us some tools and techniques to help us. I'm also going to be working on some guided meditations and some relaxations as well, which I will do on next vlogs and vlogs. Like I said, I'm still blogging every week on www.happychildcare.club, so if you do want to read more about the childcare issues, you can go there. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.